So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our Navamsa series. And today we're going to be discussing Mars in the 8th house of your D9 Navamsa chart. And what happens when Mars is in the 8th house in your D9 Navamsa, which is one of the most important charts in Vedic astrology, which shows the strength of your planets, which shows the marriage, your marriage karma, your destiny with marriage, your destiny after marriage, and that's why it's also known as a planet chart that shows the second half of our lives. So it's very important chart. And as always, if you do not know, if you have this particular placement of Mars in the 8th house of Navamsa, what your other astrological details are, for that check out the links here. Check out my full astrological report, including my books, consultations, and of course link to my academy, Vedic Astrology Academy, which I'm damn proud of, and I'm almost finished with all the lessons there. So you can just watch them now. If you were to join now, you can pretty much get 90% of the lessons now there. So anyway, Mars. This is a fascinating, a very interesting position. So Mars in the 8th house is a quasi placement, because on one hand, Mars carries the capacity to disturb the married life, the life of marriage. Because see, 8th house, you got to understand in Navamsa, it is not just the house of death and rebirth like it is in the birth chart. It mainly signifies what is the life of the marriage? What do you get from marriage? What is the gain out of this marriage? Okay? So we have to understand, first of all, Mars is a natural malefic planet. It is one of the most malefic planets. You got to understand one thing, especially under my teacher. They have been doing this for a long time, and they clearly, how they showed me that it's not Saturn that brings in death. It's not Saturn that brings in the trouble. It's Mars. Always hand of Mars will be there whenever any dramatic event occurs, whether it's terrorism, mass shooting, murder, rape, assassinations, anything of this sort, Mars. So in the 8th house, in the life of marriage, a malefic being there is in a very sensitive point. Because here it becomes extremely important to see what sign does Mars occupy. Is it occupying its own sign like Aries, Scorpio? Is it in its exaltation like Capricorn? Okay. Is it in a friendly sign like Leo and Sagittarius? Because here's the thing, with Mars being in the 8th house, there will be explosions in marriage, constant arguments in marriage. Because the thing is, Mars here wants to make a stand. Wants to make a stand. Now, who's making the stand? Is the husband making the stand? Is the wife making the stand? And of course, you can see this in each individual chart, but especially, if this Mars is in a masculine sign, whoever Navamsa this is, they're going to be like, this is my way or the highway. If Mars is in the feminine sign, then the person is going to have to be a subservient in the marriage. They're going to have to be like this. And hey, listen, no matter how bad or good your spouse is. Why? Because you're only getting your own karma. You must have beaten up your spouse in past life. Maybe put her on fire or put him on fire or killed him or her. You're just getting your dues. Now, on the other hand, if you, let's say, get an exalted Mars, Mars in its own sign, Swashetra, it's called, you're going to get a spouse who will fight for you, who will back up things for you. And especially if it's like a friendly sign, Sagittarius, spouse, due to their, in your marriage, the belief system, the principles, the divinity both you follow becomes very strong in terms of helping you with obstacles. But here's the thing, with Mars, absolutely can cut things with your spouse's family. because eighth house represents the spouse, your spouse's family. So most definitely, there's going to be differences of opinion, fights happening there, depending upon the condition. Of course, if Jupiter aspects Mars, it's going to be a grace pretty much to have that. You will have support of your, spouse's family. One thing we also have seen that anytime Mars impacts the second house and the Navamsa together, in chart of famous people, it has shown assassination, especially with the aspect or placement of Ketu certain places away from Mars. Of course, I'm not going to give those placements here. If you're smart enough, you know exactly which video I'm talking about. The video has already been made on this particular subject, maybe 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. I really don't know, but in the last 2 years. And at the same time, the other thing we see with this particular Mars is that a person does not get along with their professional network circles. They may even feel cheated by them. Elder sibling may even become the enemy after marriage. The other thing we also see, a person always injures their region below the knee, like this part, after marriage, if Mars is in the 8th. Then the other thing we also see is that this particular Mars gives strong sexual energy. Okay? Here, show your face, Brad. Show your face in the camera. Yeah, so it gives a very strong sexual energy. One gains through speculations. One gains through political connections. One gains through learning something new after marriage. And the other thing we see, one becomes very good with communication, very straightforward to the communication, like especially in marriage. You want to get to the point. What are you saying? What do you want? Okay, stop giving me these extra stories. Get to the point. What do you want? And so that becomes a strong part of this. And then Mars, especially, it is said, I don't know if it was Chamatkar Chantamani or if it was Uttarakalamrit. I read these books 2-3 times already, like last 2 years. But one of them, it said that when Mars is in the 8th house, a person gets immense wealth after marriage. Now, this doesn't mean that everybody is going to get it. You got to see the condition of Mars. You got to see these subtle things. But again, this is, and especially here, this can also show a C-section for a female. This can also show that one will usually gain their money either through chemicals. Somehow, even if you're a doctor, you're going to gain money somehow through chemicals or somehow through land and real estate. Your money will be made. And it's going to be made in a very secretive manner. Somehow these people like to do things in a very secretive way. They don't want to tell anybody and everyone what are they doing, what are they buying, what are they investing in. They're very secretive with their joint assets and their wealth. Because Mars, you got to understand, originally controls the sign of Scorpio. See, Brad, look at that. Your hairs are just coming right in front of the thing, bro. Come on. So that's what this particular Mars does. But like I said, Mars can either be a surgical knife that can save things, or it can be a killer's knife, just puts a deep wound into things. So this is something we have to be just kind of careful of, and usually this Mars can also give conflict with one's own family in life. But you got to understand, Mars will always do its avastha. Mars is a natural malefic planet. Its job is to cut through things and make things clear. That's why it's malefic. It gives bravery. It gives confidence. Why? Because this world is not heaven. This is not some higher loka. You have enemies behind you. You've got people coming after you. You've got to deal with bills. You've got to deal with everything. So it gives you that fighting capacity to hold a knife. That's the tamasicness of Mars. That's why it's malefic. It says that person is going to come to kill you. Either you kill them or they're going to kill you. What are you going to do? Here, this is my help to you. Here's the weapon to you. Okay. So anyway, guys, this was my analysis of Mars in the 8th house of Navamsa chart. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below. And if you want to know where your Mars is placed, all the other astrological details, for that, check out the links here. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Oh, look who's here. Wow. Look at how I feed her quite well. Huh, granola? I've got Rahu and I've got Ketu. Rahu, Ketu, Ketu. Go. All right. Bye-bye.